So several of you are keeping me on my toes, and I love it. You've left several comments on the previous video about how I said that Jesus paid our penalty, and you asked why I would say it that way, why paid the penalty and not received our penalty. So I want to clarify here. The reason is because some church fathers phrase it that way, and what will happen is PSA advocates will insist that that proves the church father believed in PSA. And they'll use that to try to prove that PSA is historical, because they know that a doctrine's validity stems from its historicity. The problem is that cannot be what the church father was talking about, because PSA requires that the penalty Jesus suffered as our substitute is not physical death. It can't be, because you and I die, and if he died physical death as our substitute, then we wouldn't die. Whatever he, in PSA, whatever he suffers as our substitute, he suffers on our behalf, so we won't have to. PSA's death cannot be physical death. PSA's penalty cannot be physical death. So the first thing you do is you look at that church father quote in context, and you will see he was always talking about physical death or mortality, and the fact that Jesus was able to die despite being sinless. So why would the church fathers word it as paid the penalty? And the reason this is so important is because I don't want to prematurely dismiss what the church fathers say, because they are like the Christmas carolers in the 1960s and the 1970s who understood Thomas Oliphant's song Deck the Halls lyrics as festive celebrants who decorate their house for Christmas by the warmth of the fire because the year is almost over. So we don't want to dismiss them. Their PSA is calling on them because they give weight to the argument. And the thing is, they actually give weight to our rejection of PSA. They strengthen our case, so we don't want to dismiss them. So we want to look at why. Why would a church father use the phrase paid our penalty? This is what I'm going to clarify in this video. So I'm going to use this analogy. Imagine that every single car in some futuristic reality is internally load jacked with an alert that says whether or not you've been speeding. And so if you've been speeding, you automatically get a ticket. This means that all speeders get a ticket, and the speeders must pay the ticket. They must pay the penalty for speeding. So a speeding ticket is the penalty for speeding. Death is the penalty for sin. All speeders pay the speeding ticket. All sinners die. Jesus is not a speeder. Jesus is not a sinner. But Jesus pays a speeding ticket. Jesus paid the penalty for speeding. Jesus died. So this is why an early church father might word it as Jesus paid our penalty. We are sinners. Jesus paid the penalty for sinners. Jesus paid the penalty for speeders. But he's not saying that Jesus paid my speeding ticket and I don't have to. He can't be, because I'm going to die. So the penalty that the church father is talking about is not penal substitution, which is a good thing, because it means that the church fathers cannot be used to support the PSA argument. In fact, it can be used to support their understanding of what the penalty was. And it shows that they interpreted Romans 6:23 using a literal grammatical historical hermeneutic. So hopefully that offers you some clarity, and thank you for all of those comments. I'm telling you, I love it. I love it. Keep me on my toes. And I will see you in the next video, where we will finally be discussing the Bible verses that allegedly support PSA, and we will look to see, are they using a literal grammatical historical hermeneutic, or are they using metaphorical, metaphysical, ungrammatical, ahistoric, anachronistic hermeneutic. All right, until next time, keep standing firm.